welcome to another exciting episode of the EDM Nightlife Show. I'm your host, Chris Aurelius, and tonight I have the legendary Frankie Bones.
Well, thank you.
Hey. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Cool. Well, you obviously got a lot of inspiration from New York. I mean, those are your roots. Anywhere or anybody in particular that you really like to work with that you got a lot of inspiration from?
I got into this very early because the roller disco thing became very popular in the late 70s, like 78, 79. I was maybe 10, and the disco skating thing got really big. So I go skating and they'd have a DJ, and when I saw a DJ with a turntable and another turntable blending records and music together, I was hooked, man. It was just like the most amazing thing to me because I never would have thought of doing something like that. And from 1978 on, it's just been doing that, getting records and playing them, and that's what I do. And I mean, going through like the 70s, 80s, 90s in New York City, you know, it's a very hard city, a lot of different types of people, but you get to get a little culture, you get a little bit of, you know, the Italians, you know, the Puerto Ricans, the blacks, and how everybody parties. And like, I learned so much at an early age just about life through the music, and it was like the most intense part of my life being a teenager, you know, trying to find yourself, but the music was always there. I mean, and I mean, what I do today can go right back to those times and connect all the way through, which, you know, I mean, electronic music's been around, I guess, I like to say since 76. People go, oh, back in the 1920s, these French guys did this and that, but I equate it all to when the 12-inch disco single came out in 76, one track on a, you know, album. And I've been here ever since doing it and collecting records and playing records and traveling. It's awesome. New York had a lot of legendary guys, but Jelly Bean Benitez was my first, you know, like DJ hero. Like when I grow up, I want to be like Jelly Bean. And the Fun House, which is a club that found Madonna and Run DMC. I was 15, 16, I was there. I mean, I saw a lot of legendary things happen. And I mean, to go through the history of it all, it would take forever. But just to go to the Fun House on a Saturday night, and it stayed open until 9 in the morning, unbelievable times. I mean, to see Madonna in a DJ booth, which was inside a clown's mouth, that was the DJ booth. And you were in a Fun House, and that's, you know, and Jelly Bean would DJ from, you know, maybe midnight to 9 in the morning. And every record he played, you'd write things down, you'd run to the record store on Monday to buy them. I mean, really exciting times, watching the whole electro culture grow out of Planet Rock and Africa Bambaataa, and then the hip hop thing, Beastie Boys and Run DMC. It's just amazing times.
Wow, how did you like your first DJ gig? Were you absolutely just nervous? You know, I mean.
Okay, well, my first DJ gig would be 1984 into 1985. New Year's. It was in a bar. Yeah, I was a little nervous, but to get paid to DJ and then your parents see you coming home with money, they would have never thought that was possible. So, I mean, it was amazing that you can make money from that. The minute I made, $200 is what I made for my first gig. So, to get that $200 and be 17 years old, it's like unbelievable because somebody just paid me to play music. I enjoy doing this.
That's great. So, your family was on board with that.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, the money that I made for that party, I put it right back into doing another party, and then that's how I pretty much started. I mean, it was like, you know.
And did you work hard on promoting yourself, you know, to when you were playing at these gigs, or was it just more like, just kind of?
Well, we had the subculture was graffiti, and I was the first one to jump into a subway tunnel with spray paint to paint bones on trains. I loved doing that. It was what I did, you know. I mean, and to get my name out there, I would spend nights in subway tunnels painting trains, and it took me about a year and a half, but it got to the point where any train that came into a station, I'd find my name on the train and be like, there I am, there I am, there I am. And we never knew that was possible to do that, but my first day of high school, I met my partner who wrote Net, and his name's Neil, and I heard him bragging about it, and I'm like, there's 6,000 trains in the system. You would never see your name. You write it, you would never see it again. He goes, well, you go on a train and you'll see my name there. So I was gonna go buy records that afternoon. First train comes in, I get on, I see his tag, Net. I get on the next train, I see it again. I see it 3 times, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do now, you know? And so 83, 84, you know, I would spend most of my time writing on, you know, train cars, and that's how I got my name out there. And once I got that going, I was like, okay, if I did that once with trains, now I gotta equate it to music, and I did. It took me a little bit, but 5 years out of high school is when I did my first international gig in London, and there was no looking back after that. It was.
That was like the time when you knew that something has changed?
Yeah,
from,
I mean,
you know,
people ask me, they're like, well, how do you get over to London? You know, because all I wanted to do was be a DJ in Manhattan. I didn't care about the rest of the world, but there was no rest of the world yet. So my 18th birthday was in October of '84. The drinking age was still 18. So I got a job in a club in Long Island. I played there 5 weeks, and then the state raised the drinking age to 21. So I had to wait another 2 3/4 years to be legal again. So that's why I started producing music, because I couldn't play in the clubs. I was like, I had a gig, I was in, I got out of high school, I got a gig, I'm ready to go. And then the drinking age went up, and I was done for another, almost 3 years. So I started producing, and the first records that I made went right on the radio. I don't know how. They weren't great records, but they went on the radio. So traveled to Miami and then came back. I started doing all the clubs in Manhattan, Roxy, Palladium, Limelight, Quick, which was vinyl. And then we get this call from London. Do you want to come play a party for 5,000 people? I'm like, oh, I'm ready. Let's go. And when I got to London, the rave scene exploded there.
So it was a rave that you played at over there?
It wasn't a rave. It was like Woodstock to me.
It was like a festival.
Yeah, it was called Energy. Only one sound system. 25,000 people came out the night that I got there. They only expected 5,000, but within the 3 months of promotion stuff,
So it was one stage.
One stage. Yeah.
A lot of people DJing this, or a lot of people performing.
Yeah. It's weird because Frankie Fonsette was going by the name Frankie at the time. He played before me, and the guy that went on after me, his name was Bones. So it was Frankie Bones, and then Bones. Very strange.
Wow.
Like, really strange. But after that, Frankie became Frankie Fonsette, and nobody got us confused. But people would get me confused with Frankie Knuckles all the time. I guess at the time, I never looked at myself as a godfather or anything. I was just a guy with a bunch of records. I'm gonna come play your party, and people did get me and Frankie Knuckles confused a few times, and I turn up at a party and they're like, "You're not Frankie Bones." I'm like, yeah, what were you expecting? Like, who were you expecting? I mean, and yeah, a couple times that happened to me, but the London scene was really, really cool because everybody was unity, peace. It was all like real, like love in these parties for the first like 89, 90, but then it changed a little bit.
And then the music they were playing over there, when you got there, was it almost, was it completely different than what you had ready to go with? I mean,
well,
were you
records from New York that we were making, and friends of mine, were more popular in London than they were in New York. Like, we were exporting more of the stuff we pressed up over to the UK than we were selling in America. So it was just kind of ironic, but we made like, I always had records in the charts over there the first year I was there, and it was just so amazing because you never expected that. You made records, you think you sell them in New York, maybe Miami, some Chicago. There was no LA scene yet. And then all of a sudden, 5,000 records that you pressed in America are shipping over there, and they're buying them as imports. And it was crazy because we had a pressing plant, we had labels, it was all in-house. So we were ahead of the cusp with it. And anything I put my name on would sell 5,000, 10,000 copies on vinyl. It was totally amazing. I mean, in 2 years, I tallied up from, everything I made. It was like 227,000 records I sold in 2 years independently on our own. And most of it went overseas to Europe, so.
Wow. So you get there, and obviously then you already have
they know there, yeah. And it's like bigger than it was. It was bigger there than it was in New York. And to get accepted by these people and never have traveled, I was never out of a 200-mile radius of my own, city. And I'm across the pond, and all these people are like open for the music, these big parties. It was overwhelming, really.
So basically, it's your turn to go on. How did that feel when it was your turn to go on? They announced you, I'm sure. And what did you do? Did you have records? Were you playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were playing records, but of all things, this is around like the Miami bass scene was big in America. I don't think it really made it over there. It was like they liked house and techno, really liked house. Some of the Derek May stuff from Detroit was coming through, but nobody was playing Miami bass. I mean, we used to play Two Live Crew at the club, so I wanted to come with a fun atmosphere, and there's one record called Success and Effect, Roll It Up, and they had these beats, and they're all chopped up with a really heavy 808. This one record I started my set with, I mean, it was like nobody ever heard music like that before there. It was very aggressive. It was like, the actual track gets claimed to be like the predecessor to the drum and bass, because it's very choppy with the break beats, and man, when I played that, it was like a pinnacle moment because nobody ever heard anything like that before. And that was the moment where I got 15, 20 bookings just from that one booking. I had to stay in England like a year. I lived there just because I couldn't keep traveling back and forth. It was too much stuff going on there. All right, we'll put America on hold for a little while. And yeah, I mean, amazing times. I loved it there.
Wow, did your family ever get to see you perform, you know, at these, you know, huge
I've taken my
parties
mom.
anywhere?
I've taken my mom to the first rave in New York that had over 10,000 people at. My mom was in the bleachers, and it was, but that wasn't until '96. So I mean, you know, we were doing it 4 years by that point.
Was she amazed watching you, what you're doing?
Oh, my mom's
making
my
everybody
biggest
happy?
fan. My mom is my biggest fan. And she knows like what goes, she's like, oh, you know, she like now she'll be like, she used to be like, who's this Sasha and Digweed, you know? And then she's like, who's this mouse guy? And I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh, Ma, please, please don't make me explain it. Just Google it, please.
Just Google it, yeah. Oh, and how funny. You have had so much experience to get, you know, so much culture from all around the world. What do you think the music is going to be like, let's say, you know, in 5, 10 years from now, this electronic music? I mean, do you think it's just going to get crazier and crazier with new gadgets and gizmos coming out to make it? Or?
I've been finding that with all the technology available to the people to make this stuff, that it's getting streamlined. Like all the experimentation's done. It's probably going to be what it is now, just on a bigger level. I mean, what you're hearing on the radio now will be what you hear on the radio in 5 years, or what you hear in the clubs. But people are going to get, you know, more skilled on their writing. There'll be better songs, you know, because once you produce, you start, you know, putting sounds, layering stuff. You can play with people's emotions, and you learn like anything else. So I think it's going to be like it is now, just bigger, and it'll probably be a little better too. I mean, I would hope. I've been doing it 20 years. It just seems like it's getting better than me. So
20 years, do you still use some of your old school, you know, gear out, you know, to make music?
Yeah, but a lot of my stuff's breaking down now. So I mean, I'm going to start converting over. You have to. I mean, I don't want to be left behind, but you know, I don't even play like records exclusively anymore because you can't. You got to be up on the CD technology. I don't use a laptop, but you don't really need it because with CDs, it's like playing records, and then I still have records too. And I'd like to stay up to date with everything, so you have to go digital at some point. And I've been 2 or 3 years now. I'm totally fine. I mean, I like digital even better because no skipping, nobody bumping into the DJ booth, no, you know. Records don't get pops on them because they're on digital files, so it's definitely a lot better.
So again, you know, all this new gear and gadgets and gizmos that they're coming up with right now. So do you have any of this stuff that you like to use right now?
I mean, I got with when I play out at parties, I like Pioneer CDJs. I got comfortable with them. I mean, you know, I'm coming from the old school, so Techniques turntables always are going to mean something to me. But once Pioneer like really got into like their new like the 2000s and 1000s, I'm fine with those. I mean, you know, I don't really like playing with CDs, but you have to because people, you know, on stage, they'll knock into the booth. Records get dirty if you're playing on a beach, sand gets in them, and it's a lot easier to just play digital files than to do the vinyl. But the main thing is to make people happy with what you play, and I try to come up with a sound that other DJs don't have. So, I mean, for one, I don't go on Beatport. I mean, nothing against Beatport, but it sounds like most DJs get a top 100 and everybody sounds like the next guy when there's so much freedom to explore, and it seems like things are streamlining rather than branching out.
Do you take a lot of your new ideas like from your old stuff?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I've been playing since 1989, 1990, every weekend is connected to the last weekend going as far back as, you know, 1990. So we're talking like 1,000 Saturday nights in a row. And yeah, because my memories are what makes me unique. Because a lot of people, like, you know, DJs come out, they play 3 years, they think they know the hottest music at that moment, but a DJ that's been doing it 20, 30 years can take little bits out of the past, update them, and give it more, you know, more creative control of the floor. And I'm just finding like most people don't realize that. They don't realize that a DJ that has more of a history is going to be able to, you know, do more. And I don't know, I think the older guys get lazy. I don't get lazy because it's like I got to be as hungry as I was when I was little to, you know, even compete, really. I mean, a lot of DJs out there now, you know, so
you obviously don't go just because you have a huge name. You still just, you know, try to abuse that equipment as much as you can.
Well, I like to have the turntables and the CDJs. I use all 4 actually. So I mean, the last set I played, the one we did Dub Church in Vegas, was like amazing because I had records going, I had CDs going, everything was like really like, I knew in my head, like, you know, I'm coming to Vegas, I gotta make sure that, you know, I put on a show because people that perform in Vegas put on shows. It don't matter if you're a magician, a DJ, or, you know, performing artist, you have to really do what you do and do it best. So that's, you know.
And I saw a clip of that while you were DJing, and it showed that the crowd was completely pumped up, you know? I mean, how did they react to you?
Yeah, it was weird because it's a dubstep night, and I don't really play dubstep, but the thing was, it's bass, so bass music. And like I was saying, you know, when I went to London, that record I played was a bass record, and it's all about bass. When you hear a hip-hop guy in the car with the system and like an 808 kick hits, you hear that resonance like boom, you know, and like it moves people. And you have to know, like, I know the history of dance, of hip-hop, and you know, from the streets, breakdancing, whatever. Yeah, the bass is the most important component of it all. You have to have bass because people feel it, you know?
Sure, and you know, we got to see you once out here. Do you think we'll be lucky to have you come back here more often?
I mean,
play more gigs?
I want to see my name on a billboard, Frankie Bones, you know, I mean, it don't have to be all up in lights, just a billboard or out of town. When I come in, I'll feel comfortable and I see my name up there, but if not, I'm going to go up and paint it with spray paint.
Yeah, exactly, right. You know, on our trams that we have here going on, you know, start painting your name on there.
You guys will be bailing me out of jail and getting me right to the club, right from my set. Stranger things have happened, but...
Is you have a busy schedule? Are you traveling around a lot?
I'm not as busy as I used to be, but I was living in California for 5 years, so I was almost like moved to California. It was like I retired. The weather is so beautiful, and I just, you know, just taking it easy, chilling out. And now I'm back in New York, so I'm getting back in my grind. About, you know, things about to pick up, like a train or a snowball coming down a mountain, getting bigger and bigger. I've good feelings for the next couple of months and years.
Do you ever head down to the Winter Music Conference?
Well, if I went to the Winter Music Conference this year, it would be my 18th time to WMC in 22 years of, I think they started in 1990, so this would be probably the 22nd or the 23rd WMC. I've been to 18 of them, and some have been better than others for me.
You know, I mean, I've been DJing in this town for, you know, over 10 years, and how do you think it is now that this electronic music scene has gone so mainstream and popular, in my opinion? You know, I mean, I wasn't hearing, you know, so much electronic, you know, vibe, you know, only a few years ago. All of a sudden now it's everywhere. What do you think about the whole idea that Vegas is now getting to be the new Ibiza?
Well, I mean, I don't really think America in any capacity could ever be like it is in Europe, but I mean, because Vegas is Vegas, yeah, it definitely has a comparison, but I mean, when EDC came here and did what they did, it just shows you that, you know, Vegas never really had that before. Even LA had it, but not 190,000 people over 2 days, and Burning Man, which is something a little bit different, but yet electronic music kind of infiltrated its way into the whole, you know, the pop spectrum. It's in everything. You put it on the radio, on TV, it's in the commercials, and I mean, I'm a techno guy, so I'm under the umbrella of EDM, but I think maybe 5% of the people that are my fans really, like, there's a 95% of the people are more into this pop thing that I'm not really in. It's not the same, you know. I'm not trying to be like some kind of, you know, with the hands in the air and, you know, I mean, I'm a character, so I'll fit into any, you know, any scheme of things, but like, I don't want to be like wearing a mouse head, or I don't want to have a costume on, but I'll play into it a little bit, you know. I'll wear a hat, I'll wear some sunglasses, come in and just do my thing, whatever. But,
do you like one or the other more? Like, do you like to playing at like bigger, you know, venues, or like smaller, intimate stuff? It doesn't matter.
There's no underground anymore, unfortunately. I like the legal parties. I like throwing illegal parties, but you can't do that anymore. I'm not going to go to jail now.
Hunting the parties down.
I mean, like
maps.
We were getting a spot. Like, let's say this was, you know, this space here, right? And I'd get inside. I'd take the lock off the gate. I'd put my own lock on. I'd come back a couple hours later. If my lock was still on the gate, that meant nobody was coming, and we'd be all right, and we were. Even if the cops came, I had paperwork saying that I was filming a video or a movie, and I never had any trouble for the first like 2 years. But when I got in trouble, oof, I got in a lot of trouble. The fire marshal in New York were not happy with me in 1992. And that's 20 years ago, but.
Oh man, you should definitely write a book. I can see you having let a lot of cool chapters on there with all kind of crazy stories from beginning to end.
I have so many, man. I mean, the whole peace, love, unity, you know, respect thing, which was something that I coined in 1990 because we were throwing parties and we wanted people that came to our parties to respect everybody because, you know, we're in a legal space. You don't want fights breaking out or people getting hurt. And you have to look out for your people, you know, and we never had a problem and it was good. But then the gangster element comes in. People want to, you know, deal. They want to, like, you know, I don't even mean drugs. I just mean deal, like pass out mixes. I'm a DJ. Here, try this, take this, that. And it's like, bad element came in and ruined it for a hot minute. But 1992, then, you know, the other genres came out, like trance came out and drum and bass came out and techno got big and house was big. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on.
Do you bounce around from all those genres? You like techno, and you know, every time I hear your sets, you know, or your music, it's always cool, just banging stuff.
I mean, I was into the breakbeat things for a while. Like, I kind of like, that was my thing. But I like the marriage of two things that don't belong together. You know, house and techno or breaks, and just mashing it in together and getting a groove going. It's got to be a flow. If you don't have a flow, a lot of these guys play a lot of mashup things, and I think the mashup things was already 27 minutes ago. It happened already, you know? So I'm not really too much into that, but if it's done well, I like it, you know? Yeah.
Do you have any things up your sleeve? Do you have anything cool coming up that you're going to be, that we can know about?
Let me check. No. I don't have anything like, I do have something, but I can't really tell you what it is, but it's going to be big, and it's going to be in New York, and as we watch the scene grow, I'll be able to tell you more next time you guys have me on, actually.
I definitely hope to see you more, you know, come through Vegas more and more. Yeah. Are there websites we can check you out at?
I mean, the best place to get me is on my Facebook page, and I mean, I don't even know, like, the actual address. If you just put Frankie Bones in, I come up, and that's the best place. I put all my pictures, everything relevant that I do is on my Facebook page. And yeah, I don't have a website. I did have frankiebones.com, but I didn't like keep updated on it, so
it's not like you really even need it anymore. I mean, it's just, you know, type in your name and a lot of stuff comes up, so it's not like it's hard to find out, you know, what you're up to.
I mean, look, if you want me, you just come on the internet, you'll find me. I mean, you know, they have trackers, they know I'm out there. But yeah, that's the best place, Facebook.
And again, you know, you're an inspiration, so I hope to see you come back through this town a lot more. Everybody, Frankie Bones, this guy's a pioneer, legend of the electronic dance music scene. Thank you so much for coming onto the show,
thanks
Frankie.
For having
You're
me,
awesome.
man. Awesome, man. Cool.